Hey there, scrappy friend. Suzanne here in the studio today to talk about a line of products that Close to My Heart carries that are meant for beginning scrapbookers. As you can see here, I have our core catalog that started in August of last year and goes through July of this year. So we just have a few more months and it'll be time for us to introduce a whole new core catalog of lovely products. What I wanted to draw your attention to was here on page 3, the scrapbooking starter bundles. You can pick from 2 bundles whether you want a floral or a more geometric looking layout. Each kit includes the layout kit plus the Everyday Life album in julep, a starter stamp set, a mini ink pad in a coordinating color, a black Le Pen, adhesive runner, a stamping block, memory protectors, photo placeholders, and printed instructions. So it gives you everything you need to get started. We likewise have a similar offering on the card making side, but I'm not going to go over that today. I'm sticking to the scrapbooking. If you find you like this, but you don't want the album necessarily, the layouts and stamp sets are available separately. In addition, Close to My Heart does some other cut above layout kits. They had a subscription that they have just now decided to discontinue as a subscription and to make this part of the regular product line. I think currently the May through August scrapbooking is available online, and I will leave a link to that on my blog post. So here you would get 4 months worth of layouts. So you get a double layout for each of 4 months. So 8 layouts total. Lots of fun. In addition, we also do calendar kits. I believe this year's may have sold out already, but last year's is still available, and it is 12 or 13 single layouts meant so that you can make a calendar, or they can just be standalone layouts. So that's another thing to consider. Let me just talk briefly about the Everyday Life album. It is currently only available in julep, and that's the color I'm going to show you here. It is a 1-inch O-ring, and the spine of this album is about 1.5 inches. I think it's a little bit bigger than that, closer to 2, but it has a beautiful, soft to the feel. Doesn't feel cheap. It's got a nice texture to it. It's lightly padded, and on the inside, it has that same feel. So, very nice albums. They do not come with page protectors included. Those are available separately, and we have several styles of those. Okay, as I said, you get the cut above starter layout kit. Let me pull this out and just show you what's in this particular one, just so you really have a feel for it. So we have this cover sheet, and on the back of that we have our instructions. It gives you step-by-step instructions for each of the 2 pages. You have cut aparts that you just pop out, and Close to My Heart's die cuts just pop out so nicely. You have a sticker sheet. Here we have our photo placeholders. You have your base papers that have been pre-printed with more than one pattern on them. And then here you have some cut pieces of paper, which are usually photo mats and more of those photo placeholders. So let's see how we take these plus this starter floral and make a beautiful double layout. And let's see what other touches I can add to it to step it up. Okay, back in a bit. Okay, I'm back. I just want to remind you real quick of here's how the layout looks if you do it according to their directions. Again, the directions are very easy to follow, and they give you a few key measurements here so that you get key pieces of the layout in the right place, and that makes everything end up in the right place. These are really, really well done. But let's see how we can step it up a little bit and make it into a more intermediate layout instead of a simple layout. Okay, here is where I ended up. And let's talk about 6 ways real quick in which you could have up this. The first one would be to introduce a second mat. They've already got 2 mats here, but if you wanted, you could trim down this white and then add a darker color that would tie into the layout overall. This is mist to match this here and the photo mats. That was a possibility. Here's espresso, and that would have tied into the title here, so that's another possibility. You'd see much more of a difference on this page over here. That look nice. You could also use this bright Sundance color. I don't like that one nearly as well. And I think my favorite was if I wanted to do papaya, which is the color of these darker flowers. But in the end, I decided, since they had on these inside gutters, they had already had an overlapping piece, that if I wanted to do this, I would have had to do just a 3-sided border. And then that's going to look strange because these are going to be thinner than this one here. And I didn't really want to trim down the middle. So in the end, I decided not to do that on this particular layout, but it sure is an easy way to up the look. Get a little more contrast and a little more finished look. Okay, the next way would be to introduce more of these colors. For example, here, all of these leaves and these flowers were initially supposed to be stamped in papaya. And instead, I decided to take sage ink and do the leaves in sage and the flowers in papaya. So that's a nice touch, I think. It just makes it a little more complicated and so a little more interesting. Another way, and this is a big way, I played up the title. So if you think there's a place on your layout that doesn't have enough emphasis, I added emphasis to the title here, and I did that a couple of ways. First of all, I added this floral cluster. Now I use these die cuts, especially this one I spotted in my stash right away, so that I could have a visual triangle of the flowers. These little leaves were actually from the kit, but they were going to be hidden under this cluster and under this cluster anyway, so I took a couple of leaves from there and added them here, so I'm stretching my supplies. And then when I was looking for flowers, I found these sort of golden yellow ones, and while they're not a direct match to this color, they are sort of splitting the difference between these 2 colors on this flower, so I think they worked well. And again, so that they tied in, I added 1 here, and then I popped up 2 here with dimension in these other 2 clusters. And I just popped those right on top of where I had initially stamped. So I'm letting that design that's already there determine where I'm going to add my extra touches. Okay, what next? After playing up the title, I also added some die cuts that are words. That's another way you can, most any layout can benefit from some little word stickers here and there. Here I have life is good here. I have this moment up here. And then over here I have a blank one label in order to put the date on. Alrighty, what else? Then adding bling is sort of the last thing. That's sort of the finishing touches, the pièce de résistance, as I like to say. And in this case, I use shimmer trim here, here, and here. Now, my initial thought was to do 3 across, but then I thought, no, that's not going to create, it will direct my eye across, which is good, but it's not going to take me in a visual triangle through all of the photos. So I thought that was better. And it also tied into my wanting to play up the title down here. And then I didn't stop there. I also did little liquid pearls here. On this doily die cut, it just seemed like there was a perfect little dot places there. And so I just added those little dots on both sides. So a lot of what I've done is based on what is already there. I've just added to it. I've made it a little more complicated. I've added in a few things of my stash that echo items that are already there. And then I've added some extra bling. Okay, I hope you found this interesting, and I hope you'll take a look at the cut above layouts that Close to My Heart has to offer. As I mentioned, the calendar kit is neat. The subscription kit is going to now be offered without it being a subscription. So if you don't like subscriptions, that opens an opportunity for you as well. Okay. As always, I thank you for your time and attention. Bye for a bit.